Members, many of us don't debate that in most cases vaccines are a good thing, that they prevent disease, that they're helpful and they're good for our society. This bill doesn't allow for the exceptions. It removes the exceptions. We always allowed a religious or a personal exception in the past. You heard from my fellow colleague that 48 states allow for a religious exemption, and yet we in California don't allow for a religious exemption. We know that some of those vaccines violate people's faith. You heard 3 amendments earlier today that we tabled as a group that would have addressed some of those issues, and would have given a path to every member on this floor to vote for this today. Why is it a religious exemption is so scary to this Senate body? Why is it that, like 40 other states, we refuse to allow one? You know, I have some concerns with it. As you all know, I serve on public safety, and I have a great chair on public safety, and we've done a lot of work with prisons and prisoners and the rest. And as I toured some of the prisons, I took special interest in all the stories about how every felon is given a right to practice their faith. That we know that in order for a person to return to society, in most instances, that a change of heart is necessary to get there. And so we embrace these religious experiences for all these felons and criminals that are serving time in our prisons. We give them a space to practice their faith. We give them a time to practice their faith. We do a lot of things to encourage their faith. So I find it very odd that this bill treats us law-abiding citizens as lesser citizens, and that we don't have a right to practice our faith. That's disturbing to me. So now what I'm getting from this is I have to commit a felony and be sentenced to prison before I get to practice my faith. It's absolutely outrageous. We tell people that they can't attend a public school, and we say, well, you get to homeschool, but we don't provide them equal opportunity and resources that they would normally receive if they were attending schools. But if you happen to...
Excuse me, Senator. I'm hearing noise from the gallery, and we're going to ask you to leave if you keep it up. I think I've been fairly generous.
Madam Pro Tem, I couldn't hear him.
Excuse me, Senator. Excuse me. I'm speaking. I'm chairing this effort to try to keep this respectful and on point.
I think you need to be fair in your application.
Excuse me, Senator. I'd appreciate it, and I'm going to ask that there be no noise coming from the gallery. If it's disturbing me, it's disturbing others, and that's not acceptable. Senator Anderson, you may proceed.
Madam Pro Tem, or Madam President, I couldn't hear a pin drop, so I just want to reassure you that it's not bothering me in the slightest. However,
I'm glad to hear that, Senator. I'm glad to hear that. Please go on with your comments.
So, if I were to get off a plane, walk from the airport, leave a boat, or walk across our border, I'd have access to elementary and secondary education here in California, whether I had a green card or whether I was here illegally. Why are our children denied that same opportunity? We've paid our taxes, we've done everything law-abiding, we haven't violated the law in any way, shape, or form. But our children are somehow second-class citizens in our own state, in our own country. That's outrageous. We deserve better from this body. We deserve better from this bill. Getting a religious exemption is not unreasonable. Allowing a path to an equal education is not unreasonable. Don't get caught up in zeal and lose track of the bigger picture. You can gain more with honey than you can with vinegar. And telling people that they have to choose between their faith, practicing their faith, or participating in our society is wrong. The Puritans came to our country for religious freedom. Our country's based on religious freedom. 48 states recognize that. We should recognize it too. This has been a 6-year process to move us away from religious exemptions. We had religious exemption, then we had a bill that simply combined a personal exemption with a religious exemption. And now we're removing that. That's not right. That's not what people signed up for. They didn't, and then when we offered amendments to address those issues, to give people a path to a religious exemption, we tabled it. We didn't even have it and allow it to be openly debated on the Senate floor. You know, it's a privilege to serve on this red carpet. And I know that you all worked very hard to get here because you care about your communities and you care about your state. Let's not let those people down. Let's not just go with the majority view, but let's protect the minority. The minority is equally important as the majority in this state. Let's lift all the citizens. Let's give them all an opportunity. Let's not just pick winners and losers and penalize those that we may disagree with their faith. To me, not allowing a religious exemption is saying we only accept certain state-sponsored religions and not other state religions. Otherwise, you treat them all equally. So if it violated someone's faith, how difficult is that? You know, when we talk about this, we're talking about less than 1% of our population. Can't we have the less than 1% charity for those who want to practice their faith? Senators, I work with all of you. I have a great respect for each and every one of you. And I know that you came here to make a positive difference for your community. We have an opportunity to bring every member of this body along as a positive vote. We just have to give a religious exemption, and we need to recognize that. And we need to give people an equal opportunity to a public education. That's all I'm asking for. If we can make those changes, I'd gladly vote to support vaccinations, because every member of our society would be protected. I urge a no vote.